Welcome back, Clown Pantry Peeps. Today I am embracing my desire to bake that comes every fall. It's not quite the first day of fall yet, calendar-wise, but it's meteorological fall, right? We're in September, so that should count. And every time we get to this point of year where the mornings are crisp and it cools down a bit and the humidity starts to disappear, I get the urge to bake. And one of the things I often bake first that our family loves, we call fall harvest cookies. They're a delicious, soft oatmeal cookie with white chocolate chips and dried cherries or cranberries. Today I'm using cranberries, pumpkin. They're delicious and they're soft and they're moist and they're just perfect. And so today I am going to make those for you. I'm going to make them two ways. If you're new here, about 2 months ago, my youngest daughter, who's 16, was diagnosed with celiac and with a dairy allergy. And so while I understand, what gluten is in, because we've done Whole30s in our family before, navigating the whole everyday life and trying to find things that she can have and not have to just give up her favorite things forever is kind of a new, overwhelming thing. So what I'm going to do today is make this recipe. I'm going to experiment with it with the gluten-free flour. And the only change I'm going to make for the gluten-free version, so you'll see me make it twice, is I'm going to swap out my all-purpose flour for this Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1 gluten-free baking flour. I will put my Amazon link for this below, my affiliate link for it, but you can find this pretty much most grocery stores carry it, regular grocery stores. I've seen it in them. I've seen them at Walmart. I don't know if Target has it. I don't have a Target near me. You can get it from Azure standard as well, which is where I usually get it from, but it's just the 1-to-1 baking flour, and I've had good luck with this with some other things, baking-wise, like muffins and things, so I'm hoping this works well in the cookies. So what I'm going to do is make this recipe for you first, the gluten-free version, so that all the equipment and everything is clean right now and there's no cross-contamination, because that is a thing, and she does react to it. And then I will make it again the other way. But again, the only difference in the recipe, which I will type out for you below, is the flour swap out, and it's a 1-to-1 thing. So it's not really a different recipe, I'm just changing the flour. So if you're not interested in gluten-free, then you can just use all-purpose flour. I haven't tried bread flour, so I'm not sure how that would work in it. So I'm gonna bring it over to my mixer and get started and get my oven on so it can start preheating. Okay, so I'm doing this in my stand mixer just because it's easy, but you do not have to have a stand mixer to do this. You can do it by hand with a good wooden spoon, or you can use a hand beater, or any way you normally make cookies. I just find it easier to do this and easy to clean. So I have canned pumpkin goes in this. I've got my flour. I've got, you'll see two things. Before she was diagnosed, the regular oats, and then the gluten-free ones are what we'll use today. Just so oats, you need oats. And so we're gonna start with 2 cups of the flour. Oh, the oven needs to go on 350. Get it up to 350. 2 cups of the flour, whether you're using the gluten-free or not, it's 2 cups because it's 1-to-1. And if you stick to the end, I'll get to, I'll taste them and let you know what I think the difference is. So that one's slightly over, so I'm going slightly under. 2 cups of flour. And the bonus of doing 2 recipes is it calls for 1 cup of pumpkin, and so that's right about half a can, so I can use up the whole can by doing 2 different recipes. Just a bonus to me anyways. All right, we need 1.5 cups of oats, old-fashioned or rolled oats. I'm eyeballing in the 1 cup measure, 1.5. I'm gonna keep these out for my next batch. Okay, baking soda, teaspoon of baking soda. I'm gonna use my 1/2 teaspoon measure because I want to use it for the cinnamon too, and I can't get my teaspoon measure in the cinnamon jar, but just use it twice. So teaspoon of baking soda, cinnamon, also a teaspoon, and 1/2. 2.5, okay. Leave the top off that. I normally don't leave tops off of things. I'm too clumsy for that. A teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. This is my first time this year getting out pumpkin pie spice. I'm Do I need to make more? Someday soon I need to make all of my mixes again. It's been a while, like my taco mix, my soup, my onion soup mix, I'm short on everything, and so maybe I should add pumpkin pie to that. Where is it? Project saved. I found it partially opened. Already made pumpkin pie spice. All right, I need a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, which, if I'm out of this, I would just add more cinnamon and some nutmeg. That's what I like flavor-wise in here, even though pumpkin pie spice has more than just that. Half teaspoon salt. Most of my baked goods that I put cinnamon in, I also put nutmeg in. I just love nutmeg. Okay, I'm gonna mix that together and then get butter. I just want to mix kind of evenly. Okay, I'm gonna get a bowl for this because I'm gonna use the mixer again. And I could have done this all in the bowl, but I just like to be difficult. Okay, because I want to use this to cream my butter and brown sugar. Cleaning as we go. We are not using these. Adobo and buttery steakhouse do not go in the cookies. Put them back. Okay, 2 sticks of butter. So I'm gonna go ahead and get 4 sticks so I have them for the next time. Okay, and these need to be softened. So I'm gonna do like 10 seconds, 12. We'll do 12 seconds. And then in with the butter, we're gonna cream it with brown sugar and regular sugar. A cup of each, so brown sugar and granulated sugar. I normally use one thing and put it away, so having everything sitting out is like, to me. I don't like it. Okay, I'm gonna roll these over and do like another 5 seconds. And my measuring cup here, yeah, I'm gonna use a half cup. Okay, they're not soft, but this will mix them up quick, and I can like kind of squeeze into them a bit, just slightly, so I don't want them to melt. There. I should put an apron on, I'm so messy. I don't wear aprons as much as I should because I don't like the way they fit. I feel like they pull on my clothes. Anybody else have that problem? Like they pull on my shirts? I have the same problem with overalls. I would wear overalls outside way more often, but they pull my shirts kind of forward. So I've been thinking that I need to make my own, like design my own apron that has straps that don't do that. I was not just flipping you off, by the way. But which then led me to the thought of, I'm always asking myself, should I share? I'm a crafty person. Should I share on here crafty things? Because it's a Homestead channel, you know, I mostly do paper crafts like card making and scrapbooking and cute gift wrap and stuff, but I also crochet, I also sew, I also occasionally upcycle junk or, you know, make things like that. Which then got me thinking that maybe I don't want to start a second channel. What do you guys think? Do you want to see crafts on here or not? Or would you, I feel like a lot of people in homesteading are not in the crafts, although there is a lot of crossover. A cup of each of these, by the way. So that's just something rolling in my head. Would totally love input. How many of you guys are craft watchers? All right, so I have those. I'm gonna cream the butter and sugar, which just means like, if you're not familiar with the term, it's just getting it all mixed up together so that it's like, almost like a gritty butter. A gritty, almost fluffy butter. I'm gonna open my pumpkin can here while we wait. And I need half a cup for this. No, I need 1 cup. 1 cup for this. So let me get a scoopy type. that did use more than half the can. So if I need more, I do have another can of pumpkin for the next batch. That is creamed, where it's like fully incorporated, almost like a batter on its own. And some vanilla. Now that I've moved everything around, here's my vanilla. I have used this old vanilla container for my homemade vanilla for like 4 years. One day it's just gonna give out on me. An egg, which I crack into a separate little dish just in case there's something wrong with it. Looks fine. I need a new sugar tub. Okay. Put the egg in there. Keep that out. Extract. Okay. Mix this up. Scoop this all down. So it's all incorporated. Okay, I'm gonna put this stuff back in. Go slow. I don't want flour pooping everywhere. And now I'm going to put in white chocolate chips. You need a cup, half a bag. It's good for me. I think I eyeball chips. I usually put more than any recipe calls for. There we go. And dried cherries. The original recipe I went off of, which I've now altered like 8 times, called for dried cherries, which I do absolutely love in here. I don't always have them on hand though, but I do almost always have dried cranberries on hand, and I absolutely love these cranberries from Azure Standard. They're organic and they are only sweetened with apple juice. They don't have oils, they don't have sugar, and they are like the same price as craisins in the store, which is amazing to me. So about a cup of those. I'm gonna, again, eyeball that. If you're someone who likes nuts in your cookies, I think pecans would be great in here for fall. And then I'm just getting it mixed at this point and we'll get it on the cookie sheet. Just want to make sure that all those chips and the cranberries are well incorporated. And you might think you can't substitute cherries for cranberries or vice versa because cherries are sweeter, but actually you can. I've had them both ways. And the cherries, while they're not as tart as cranberries are, cherries that are used for dried cherries are usually a tart cherry. So they're usually sweetened as well. So they're not as sweet as like a regular cherry usually. So it's not as off as you might think. I love the cookie equally well both ways. And these smell fantastic when they're baking. Oh my gosh, it's like people walk in and they're like, fall, it's fall in here. Okay, nice thick dough. Let's get it on a cookie sheet. Okay, and I usually use my big scoop for these. I like to have things close so I don't make as much of a mess. I'll probably have to do 2 sheets full. I smash them down just slightly. They will spread on their own. So I just barely flatten them. These do take a little bit longer to cook because they are like oatmeal cookies, but they take 12 to 14 minutes total. I'm gonna get the other pan going. I learned from my grandmother to put one in halfway through its baking, flip it and put it on a different shelf and put another one in, like rotate like that. So I always stick it in before the other one. one recipe makes 2 dozen large cookies. While this is waiting for the halfway mark, I'm gonna wash my hands and get started on the non-gluten-free batch. Okay, we're about halfway with those. So flip them around, put them down, put these in. There we go. Well done. I had hoped that the pumpkin would work out perfectly to be 2 cups, but it wasn't. We're like 1 3/4 cups, so I'm gonna open up another can of pumpkin for this. But now I'll have an excuse to make my husband one of his favorite things, which is baked pumpkin donut holes. Okay. Here, pumpkin. Egg. Some white chocolate chips. I'm gonna need more, which I knew that, so I have more. Can always add more. Some more cranberries. These are so good, you guys. Okay, the timer just went off. Let's check these ones in the bottom. Okay, they are not done. They're still very wet looking on top. The bottom is starting to set, but they're still, you can tell easily that they're not done. We'll give them 2.5 minutes. As with all cookies, you don't want to overbake them. I like soft and chewy cookies, so I'm not looking for crispy. All right, let's see how that is. That is a lot better. Still not completely set on top. I'm gonna give it another, These are more done than these. So I'm gonna turn them around again. We'll do 1.5. I'm not gonna put my non-gluten-free ones in the oven until these are out. I'll use the same trays. I do have an oven. Typically, if I'm doing one type of cookie, I will do 3 trays. That way I'm loading one, swapping one comes out, gets unloaded, cools, load it back up. Keep the process going, but I don't want them in the oven at the same time. Gluten, it's a crazy thing that people can just touch it and be. All right, hopefully 3rd time's a charm. This has been a total of 16 minutes. We're looking pretty good. I still have one. So these look good. I'm gonna go ahead and sit them on the cooling rack. I have 2 separate places cooling racks. One I've labeled gluten free. I'm gonna sit it on there and let it cool for like a minute or 2 before I take it off the pan onto the cooling rack. Don't want to forget to turn around this tray. Sit them down there, and they look like they could use 6 minutes. I'm gonna get these ones ready to go in so that when the gluten-free ones come out, I can get them started. Get this out of my way. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I've got my last dozen of the non-gluten-free batch over there getting ready to come off. These are still warm, but these have pretty well cooled. So what I wanna do is just wait for them to cool down because I just wanna compare cookie to cookie on even field. These are good warm or room temperature, but if those are room temperature, I want these to be room temperature when I try them. But I did already notice something. The gluten-free cookies are a little more, I mean, these spread out a little more, but they also went on hot pans, so that could be it. But these are a little more like the oats are more pronounced, like the gluten-free flour kind of sunk down into it more. It is actually kind of prettier. Look-wise, I like this one, but it's neither here nor there. It's nothing bad or good about it necessarily. I will say that these with the gluten-free flour didn't brown as much as these regular ones. These didn't cook as long. So that was just a visual thing I noticed, but I'm gonna give these a few minutes to cool. I'm probably, when I taste these, gonna have to do a voiceover because my kids are almost home. So I will tack my review onto the end with the voiceover and let you know how I felt about the flavor and texture differences of the two. What I would love to know is if you are a avid gluten-free baker, I would love to know what flour you swap out for all-purpose flour. Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me, and watch to the end to see if there was any difference, what type of difference, what I liked better, if I liked one or the other better. See you guys in the next one. We're cool enough on both of these. I'm gonna try the normal one first. It's just like I remember. This is comfort food, you guys. This is fall on a cookie. Okay. Makes me happy. Gluten-free version. Very, very similar. Slightly crispy. The oats are slightly crispier, but the cookie itself is still soft. Flavor is the same. There's no weird texture to it. I would make these for the whole family if they wouldn't know. I might take these. My middle is in the living room now. I might take these to her and see if she can tell which one's which. Stay tuned. It's a funny thing. She actually guessed that the gluten-free one was the one I normally make. She kind of liked it a little bit better. So there you have it. The results. Gluten-free flour swap out. Perfect this time.